So the fee officially being a fee.
Ne kwaram gajango pogore gimano ntiere rombe mopogore ma bende dhi nyime e od bura mano mar senet odiochieng' makawuono. Bende odiochieng' makawuono komiti mano mar od bura mano mar senet mochung'ne weche mag omenda gi budget bende romo kod jakom mano mar riwruok mar governors e pacho ka mano Hamed Abdullahi kanyakla kod jakom mar CRA mano mung'ere kaka Mary Chebukati. Jafwamb marwa Chris Owino ntiere romo kamano kama e kaka romo no dhi nyime gi sane.
The Senate proposed 458.9 and Senate has proposed 454 billion. As the chair and having had, just as my colleague shared here, having had the exposure of sitting as a governor, I will agree with you on one very important point, and Kalwale has raised. First, any money that comes in division of revenue will not be conditional allocation to any county. So you are spot on in terms of the 8.9 billion for UHC. Once it is in DORA, it will be subjected to the formula, and there is no two way around it. So this committee does not see any difference in terms of that figure being set aside. We will not consider it as having been set aside. We are going to subject it to the shareable revenue formula, and that's how it's going to be shared. And that is not the view of the committee, it's the law. Division of revenue guides, once we go into division of revenue, we are going to do horizontal sharing based on the shareable revenue as formulas passed by the Senate. Then the county government's onus is upon them to make sure that, UHC workers are taken care of. The intent of the national government is clear, it's pure. There are UHC workers that have been transferred. However, maybe this money should have come in conditional allocation if that was the intended purpose, accompanied by a schedule of how each county, based on the number of UHC workers they have, is going to be there. But once it's put part of division of revenue, the law is very clear. We are going to subject it to horizontal sharing of revenue using the formulas approved, which is the law right now. And I agree with you maybe in thinking in the line where you have taught about the item of county government additional allocation eating into shareable revenue, and maybe the figure should be just allocated in the shareable revenue to facilitate proper planning by county governments and meaningful development. Why am I convinced? 2023-2024, county additional allocation was 46.36 billion. What is released actually was 29.37 billion. 16.99 billion, even though approved, has not been released to date. And after the year lapses, there is no further discussion of that. 2024-2025, we approved 50.54 billion. Only 26.196 billion was released to county governments. 24.34 billion remains unreleased, and once the year lapses, it is not subject to discussion anymore. So the only real monies that even if there is delayed release, it's very clear is division of revenue, where even if by 30th of June they have not released, they still must release that money. And maybe that informs the basis on you sharing that issue. So I identify with that on the basis of the facts that preceded the previous years on county additional allocation. Now, the issue that the Vice Chair shared and most of us hold is that the Senate will continue fighting to get more resources for devolution. However, this time around, we have a different approach. Whatever additional increase that you're going to get over 415, we need commitment from COG that they're going to put that to payment of pending bills so that we're able to ease the pressure by contractors in the country, so that even if you get X amount, that X amount should be prorated across the counties, and the counties should be able to indicate in good faith that they're going to make sure that pending bills are reduced as far as the county governments are concerned. Mine is general comment, not a question. And Madam Chair, over to you for responding to the ones that are not comments, that are questions. Comments, you can just take note of them. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We shall respond as a commission on each and every question that has been asked. I will respond, and my team can add on to the comments. I want to start with the first question from the Honorable Senator from the coast, where he asked about the impact on the shareable revenue on the sale of the public assets. The sale of public assets are paid into the National Infrastructure Fund, Honorable Chair. And as we are aware, there are cases in court relating to its constitutionality. I would therefore request that it may not be possible for us to comment on matters that are currently in court. So allow us to skip that one. On the issue of securitization, these RMLF and all the other levies, these are funds, and they are funds under the national government. So the question is, what will be the future outlook? So they don't affect the shareable revenue because they come from the national government share.
Madam Chair, sorry, what the Senator meant is, how is this going to impact on the fiscal space for future generations, you know, in terms of you are using funds that are presently collectible. You securitize that fund, and for subsequent years, the collections are going to go in the present collection of securitization. How is that going to impact the fiscal space for future generations, or in the near foreseeable future for the government? Thank you.
I think the CEO had wanted to address that one.
Thank you, Chair. As you have said, it will have an effect on the future fiscal space. And that means that the fiscal space is going to shrink if the revenue that was supposed to be raised has been diverted for the purposes of securing or paying obligations within the national government, which will not be available to the other part of the government. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Senator Halwale made